VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed 3-hour program lined up here on a Friday. Stanford Steve from ESPN coming up bottom of the hour. We will get into some best bets from him in college basketball for the weekend. Also some NFL draft talk with him. Paul Stone. He is in the Friday night college basketball handicapping contest here at Circa. He's on the show later on. Bruce Marshall, college basketball best bets. And it's Oscars weekend. And we have a director on the show today who's been on with us previously. Isaac Feeder's going to be on the show and showrunner. He did a 30 for 30. So he is going to give some predictions and maybe some possible best bets on the Oscars.
He's a good man. Talented guy. Hollywood hotshot. AC Green, Iron Virgin. Narrated by Will Ferrell. What he did, he also did the documentary Life on the Line. Teddy covers Fezzik about sports betting as well. And get some tips and cash a ticket with him coming up.
You bet. Also, we have a ton of news today in the National Football League. We finally found out what was going to happen with Matthew Stafford, and he is going nowhere. So he is going to go back, according to all these reports that dropped within the last hour or two, that Stafford's going to re-sign with the Rams, and they're going to try to run it back with him. This is the correct move here, I think, from both parties, right? Because all this talk about Stafford going potentially to a team like the Giants, yuck. I did not like that move. Out here to the Raiders, great for that organization, but is that how Stafford really wants to finish his career? And then some of the other things that were thrown out there, I would not have hated the Steelers, I guess, certainly. The Vikings, intriguing, but I think the Rams with that young core and Puka Nacua being an elite, like number one wide receiver, that defensive line and how they played in the playoffs, I think they're going to be a big-time threat to every other squad in the NFC next year.
Yeah, what do you guys, the best I see is 28-1. That looks pretty good to me, considering you outplayed Philly in the second half.
Yeah.
And if you played a clean game, you would have beat them. So as a fan, it's unfortunate because it really would have opened the doors for a lot of crazy scenarios, and I was hoping he would come out here. But whether it was Sexton just using his leverage, you're right, Giants didn't make sense. Fingers crossed for the Raiders. Pittsburgh would have been interesting, but you have to like the Rams with their chances to not only win that division, but again, make noise in the NFC. And then it also leads to what happens now with these other teams that they have to pivot. So I agree with what you said in your assessment that the Rams had to do this. It was best for Stafford as well to end his career.
We will put it out there right now to the audience. Here's my question. What's the best number that you can see on the Rams right now just to win the NFC? Because it's 28-1, like you said. You might be it's 30-1 out there for the Super Bowl. It may be unlikely. But if you can somehow find a 15-16-1 to win the conference, I'm in. I would like to put down a wager on that. Again, because with that division...
Defense was nasty down the
stretch.
They
were awesome.
Yep.
It's still going to be a good division, obviously. The Seahawks are going to be a factor, depending on what they do at quarterback. The Niners are more of a question mark, I think, maybe than several years now prior to this.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's going to happen there as well. They could have some guys who are no longer on the roster who have been key contributors. Are they going to re-sign Brock Purdy to a monster deal? But good head coach there. And then the Cardinals were on the up.
They're on the come.
Yeah, they are.
They are. No
last
doubt.
year. But I still like the Rams to win that division. Yep. I'd say that you have to have the Eagles number one in the NFC. Then you probably have to have, Lions, Packers, Commanders. But
I don't know about that.
No, I'm saying in other teams. I think I'd have the Rams over most of them.
Sure. You got to see what Detroit looks like now. Losing both coordinators. Absolutely. And maybe Johnson can turn around the Bears. Not that they're going to be that high, but that could happen as well. And maybe Minnesota falls down. The other thing now is these reports that what's going to happen with these two teams you mentioned. And there's multiple reports that now the Raiders are going to pivot and look at Sam Darnold and show interest in Russell Wilson, which the latter I cannot believe because he tried to get Carroll fired in Seattle. And I wouldn't want him anyways. So I don't – this is where Brady has to step in and, leadership and whether it's Sanders at 6 or you just put him in there and take his lumps, whatever. Because you don't want to pay Darnold all that money. And then Wilson's a horrible fit as well with that bad relationship they had and how it ended in Seattle. An unmitigated disaster that the Giants then would pivot and are looking at Rodgers. Why would he even want to do that? Number one, he'd get killed.
Because he lives there, I guess.
Oh, my God.
No, I know.
That's just terrible.
He has to remember what the offensive... He only played 4 snaps 2 years ago, but the offensive line that year for the Jets, that was no bargain, right?
Yeah.
And the Giants' offensive line, in theory, could be really bad again this year. If they could hold up for him... I thought about this earlier when the report first surfaced. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, my God, the Rodgers-Neighbors connection could be incredible.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean in terms of, like, winning games and doing damage? Maybe not that much, but maybe, like, player props, fantasy perspective. Like, Neighbors, to me, would completely shoot up the board for fantasy if Rodgers were to go there and be the quarterback next year. He loves having, like, that alpha. He's had a great connection with guys over the years. And I just think that it would be insane what Neighbors might be able to do in year number 2 with Rodgers as his quarterback, rather than the dreck he was dealing with last year.
Yeah. Remember, DraftKings had him as low as 2-1 to go to Pittsburgh, which I don't know if they want the circus in town with him, with that organization. But again, who handles eccentric, wild people better than Tomlin and what he's done? I mean, we didn't even know at that time Brown and Bell were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at what he was able to do. So that's still intriguing, too, if that happens, although unlikely. But I'm just surprised at the news that I can't imagine Rodgers would want to go there and end his season. Just retire if that's the only option.
Well, and so I think either way here, if the Giants were to agree to a deal with Rodgers, or if they don't, like, they are going to reek of desperation for a quarterback now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
Yeah, the coach and GM are on a hot seat.
Absolutely. So that's exactly right. So they're picking third. Both teams in front of them also need quarterbacks, right? I don't think the Titans are going to take one. More on that here in a minute, but the Browns, I don't know, they could. So do the Giants, if they really fall in love with a guy like Cam Ward, do they now get so desperate? Do they try to make a deal with the Titans to leapfrog Cleveland and then suddenly get the number 1 overall in the pick in the draft, and they say, yeah, Cam Ward's our guy. Yeah. Cam Ward's minus 150 now to go number 1 overall.
Yeah. Well, rest assured, I think there'll be a trade. Whether it happens at 1 or 2, or maybe the Browns do something also, because it just gets worse now that Garrett says, I don't want to sign an extension. So now it's like, De Niro and Copland, my hands are tied. I mean, I think you got to move on from them and try to get a haul for our picks and whatever you can do there, too. So that gets juicy as well.
Where's going to be the landing spot for Darnold?
I don't know.
I mean, are we going to play musical chairs here and there's going to be nothing left?
And that guy might be Rodgers. Darnold, yes. Rodgers, maybe no. That could be, too.
I think that's the game that's going to be played, and one of those 3 guys are going to be like, I don't have a chair to sit on here.
Yeah, and Fields is probably a backup again as well. And then the news that the Saints want to keep Carr. That also takes out another spot.
Mm-hmm. Intriguing stuff today, man.
Yeah, yes.
Very much so.
Yes. How good was the North Carolina thing? Lombardi saying that Hard Knocks, North Carolina, watch Belichick teach and watch Belichick cook. That would be your Hard Knocks and interest in light of the Giants look so bad in their organization and how they handle Barkley that no one wants to be part of the show.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. I think we're going to get like A+ Belichick in the media for this show.
I agree.
We're not going to get...
No doubt. You're selling the program. You're saying, come here.
No doubt.
That's right.
We're going to get the guy that we had the previous year when he goes on McAfee, when he goes on with the Manning cast, where he was exceptional. So, again, Cam Ward now minus 150 to go number 1 overall. Abdul Carter got to as high as plus 170 earlier in the week because of that news came out. Hey, he might need surgery before the start of the season. Then they debunked that early the next day. He came back down to like plus 120. He has since drifted now a little bit at some sports books. This is Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network. High praise here on the former Penn State edge rusher.
Abdul Carter, we watched him with one arm.
So good.
In the playoffs, dominating.
We were there. Yeah, it was
dominating.
Hold on, I got some Hembo stats on Abdul Carter.
You want to know something crazy? And this is fully, recognizing Travis Hunter and his greatness. I'm not so sure if they raced that Abdul Carter wouldn't win.
Really?
Abdul Carter, I was told when he has a full runway to get healthy and run, that he'll run in the 4.3s.
In the 4.3s?
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Titans are pretty good at the defensive line, though.
Yeah, but that could lead into your generational talent quote, though, too.
Right, the freak.
Yes.
Right, that we've had
Underwear
before
Olympics
these guys.
and all the someone works out, you fall in love with them, and okay, that's the pick.
Right, so one more soundbite here. Travis Hunter got as low as like plus 450 earlier in the week. He's back to 9-1. This is Elliott Wolf talking about the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter's a tremendous prospect. As a number of these guys are, he's obviously been very unique. Won the Heisman Trophy, playing both ways. He's really unique and instinctive at both positions. So I think there's a scenario where he's probably going to major in one and minor in the other. But I think there's a scenario where he could play both ways.
Oh, yes, well said at the end. He's
Good.
perfect for the Patriots.
Agreed.
Perfect. And I think that would have been the pick if they lose to the Bills.
Agreed on
He'd
both
have been
counts.
the guy, yeah.
Hunter also came out. He's really pushing to go number 1 overall. I don't blame the kid. He said, what I do is actually more difficult than what Ohtani does.
Did he elaborate?
He just said playing both ways, like in games at the same exact time, is more difficult than pitching and going out there and hitting at the same time.
He went there, okay.
Well, it's more physical.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. I mean, you're exerting yourself completely when you're throwing 100 miles an hour on the mound, obviously. But to play cornerback and wide receiver same time, I don't disagree with him.
All right, from advanced metrics to sharp betting angles, the VSiN MLB betting guide, your ultimate playbook for the season. Avoid strikeouts at the book. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today as low as $9.99. Get your copy of the guide today. Adam Burke did a great job. MVP, Cy Young, players' perspective on evaluating pitchers from former pitcher Jensen Lewis. Expert tips on how to bet baseball. Great stuff on analytics, weather, road trips. VSiN.com/subscribe. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Up next, betting angles for tonight's college hoops card and looking at the Saturday games as well. Looky here, it's loaded once again tomorrow. As for tonight, it hasn't been pretty. When this team travels far away from home, the numbers jump off the page. We will share them with you next here on VSiN. So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next, a numbers game, Wes Reynolds joins us to talk all things golf and beyond, everything that he's betting. Plus, Carl Sack on the NBA, a man who actually moves global NBA lines when he releases a play. We'll see if that happens this morning. And Todd Bubba Horwitz teaching us, mathematically perhaps, how we can be better. It's all coming up on a numbers game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Numbers are out for tomorrow's loaded college basketball card. Tonight as well, we do have a ranked team in action. UCLA plays at Purdue. Purdue laying 5.5 at a lot of books. They are at 6 here at Circa. And when you look at the projections, they all have Purdue winning between like 4. Well, actually, there's one projection winning by 2 tonight. So UCLA would be covering, and most spots have them actually covering in this game tonight. But I will point this out. UCLA on the road in league play. Lost 66-58 at Nebraska. Lost 79-61 at Maryland. Lost 75-68 at Rutgers. They lost 83-78 at Illinois. The one game they won when there was travel involved was 72-68 at Indiana. They stayed to play 2 road games on the West Coast. They beat Washington by 5. Washington's bad. Mm-hmm. And then they, crosstown rival, they beat USC by 6. So almost every single time this team has had to travel to the Midwest or to the Northeast, they have lost the game, and it hasn't been pretty in most spots. The one exception would be the Illinois game was close. It was a 5-point game, and they did beat Indiana. Other than that, I mean...
Yep, they were good in that game.
Sure.
Right. And then you got an angry Purdue team as well. So I want no part of UCLA here.
Purdue has hosted only one team from the West Coast. They were favored by 13 over USC. They won 90-72.
Mm-hmm. Good game. It's the final Friday until chaos ensues. Next Friday, there'll be finals and games going on when we're on the air. Friday after that's the best day of the college basketball season. And then the Friday after that is day 2 of the madness. So enjoy this one. I wish they would do better cards here on Friday. But that's your marquee game, and I lean Purdue with everything you just said.
Yep. By the way, the Yale game tonight against Dartmouth, and the first number that I saw on that was Yale minus 7.5. Ken Pom has it a 9-point game. Other spots have it much closer than that, including Bart Torvik. He has it a 5-point game tonight. Yeah. And you said this yesterday on the show. Yeah. Yale, could run the table in the Ivy League, and suddenly, look at this, say they lost in the conference tournament. Oh, you're out. No,
doesn't mean anything. Yeah, we played grab ass for 3 months. Doesn't matter. You got to win 2 more games. That's a 2 o'clock tip, by the way, Pacific time. Also, this Akron total is very popular. Here's another one. Akron's taken apart the MAC. They only have 1 loss in league play. This under is very popular. Peterson and others made the case that it's way too high, 157, taking on Kent State. I think Hoops makes it like 148, Luke, in that range. Check it out, VSiN.com. So Kent State Akron under is very popular. And I love this VCU team, Mitch. Love them. They're hot. I know Jerry Palm said they don't have some quality wins. This is a good league, and they deserve 2 bids. If they happen, they don't win the A-10 tournament, because George Mason's good as well. They've won 13 of 14, all but 1 by 8+ points. And again, they're laying 14.5 against Davidson. They are killing people during this stretch. And a good chance they run the table. And then again, you'll be talking about a team, 28, 29 wins, if they lose in the championship of their conference tournament. And to me, it's a no-brainer to put them in against some of this garbage that's on the bubble.
Yeah.
But this is a hell of a VCU team. Here's Thomas Gable from the Borgata, good college basketball guy, on what he thinks of this VCU squad.
Well, I think VCU is probably the tops of that group out of mid-majors. You're going to see teams like McNeese, and, they'll probably have some juice on them coming in and, be a popular upset play in the first round, and people may be picking them as a kind of a sleeper going into the Sweet 16. But I mean, it's going to be the big conferences, I think, that really are going to be the ones that dominate and get to the end here in this tournament, just because there is that bigger gulf. And the mid-major programs that are power rated up to into these power conferences, I mean, they're few and far between. And VCU, that's really why I wanted to kind of focus on this game tonight with Davidson, just to really talk about them as a program as a whole, because I do think just by their power rating, they definitely have the ability to play with some of these big boys.
Earlier today on By the Books, and I agree. And maybe they're a little tick below St. Mary's. Who knows? But they're certainly a team that could cause problems and make the Sweet 16.
We'll get to some opening numbers on the card for tomorrow. We have breaking news in the NBA. Joel Embiid is out for the year. Done.
There you go.
So they have that top 6 protected pick.
Yep. What took so long?
And, the game again, earlier this week when they were trailing by 50 points to Chicago was probably the telltale sign. Although, again, they were...
Well, there was the meeting beforehand, too, right?
Yeah.
On what we should do and what's the plan, not only with Embiid, but for the season, and then they were down 50. And I find it funny that after that game, George says, I'm going to cut out the Player P podcast. I think it's...
What a joke.
What? Yeah, you've been terrible the whole year. Finally, read the room. Oh, man. What are they now? What are we now? What, 10-1 to make the playoffs?
Oh,
11-1? 12-1?
Yeah,
3.5 back of the Bulls?
I think I don't even know if they're going to post numbers on this team now.
Mitch, they have the 2 worst contracts in the NBA on the same team. This guy cannot stay on the floor and stay healthy. He's due $69 million at the back end of that deal. Why did they extend him?
I have no idea.
There was no reason to do it. He's probably signed it in 2 seconds.
They're playing tomorrow against Steph Curry and Golden State.
And it's on national television.
Thank God. That number is actually 2 spots have it on the board right now. There's a 7.5 and an 8 out there on Golden State. Total about 225.5 or 226. Whew. I would actually just go to Maxey and I would make George play the rest of the season.
Well said.
Because he's been a disaster, and that's who he is, and I can't stand him, and he's so overrated it drives me nuts. I would go to Maxey and say, you're hurt. You're going to limp off the court, and you're not playing for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because you're too good.
Or make something up.
And we don't want anything to happen to you that would actually result in like an injury that could affect like next season. And then, when this season's done, trade Joel Embiid, because there's a sucker around every corner in the NBA.
I don't know about that, Mitch.
That can happen. You will get the GM at a really bad organization to say,
no.
Oh my God, I can bring in Embiid and we can like drum up sales and get the fan base excited. Paul.
You're out of your mind with that one.
Paul.
I respect you, but that's an asinine comment.
Nico Harrison just traded Luka to the Lakers.
He can't stay healthy, Mitch.
It's the NBA.
He can't stay on the floor.
Ben Simmons got $178 million.
God.
It's the NBA. You're giving these idiots way too much credit. They throw around funny money every single year. I would call every single team in the league.
Untradeable.
Well,
no one will take them.
I would hang up the phone.
No one will take them.
But that won't happen. Somebody will say, I like it. Let's have a conversation. And you have to do it if you're Philly. That's priority number 1. Get them off the books. Yeah. Get them off that roster and get that stank out of that city.
Yep. I don't know what you're going to get for him, but that's...
I'd take a second-round pick.
Yep. It's like casino. In the back, like, throw him outside. Tell him he got hit by the cop. Tell the cops he got hit by a car.
Yep.
Right? That's what you do with Maxey. Remember,
exactly right.
Oubre was riding his bike, and a car hit him, allegedly. What happened? But that's the same type of deal here. Just tank it, keep the pick, and worked out for Dallas and on to the next. Oh, what a disaster.
What a wasted career.
Ooh, no kidding. Trust the process, all of it. The guy never made a conference final.
Never got out of the second round.
Yeah.
Total embarrassment.
Absolutely.
And I know that you disagree with Barkley and Shaq a lot. I love it when Shaq rides this guy. I can't get enough of it. He's called him out over and over and over again. Good for him.
That's fair. Yeah, but I'm not playing there. That's fair.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
What would you even take for them to make the playoffs? Actually, what would you take to participate in the play-in game?
That's the better angle. Yeah, because they're not going to win 2 games, even if they get it right, or 1 game, depending on the seed.
Right.
To participate in the play-in.
I'm going to see if DraftKings has that. They probably are. They probably yanked it after the news came out. Not like 15 minutes ago, whatever it was.
The schedule's not that difficult. I don't. Boy, can I get 5-1? Can I get 4-1 now? Something like that. But yeah,
I wish more books would post that too.
That's a good market.
That's a fun market to bet into.
Yeah. So. That's your big news. Now. That's your big news, and that is that's wild. I'll bring it up in a second. That's they took it down. I just got the West.
Okay.
They took it down. Wow. Why did you pay him? There was no reason to pay him.
Nope.
$68 million. He plays 20 games a season.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though. They gave him that much money. Now I get it. Like everything was about this guy for that team, and he was the process. So you weren't going to have him walk, I guess, or trade him then. So here's all that money with the brand new TV contracts. We can afford it. But
well, he's going to say, I get my knee fixed, cleaned up now, surgery. I'll be good as new and ready to go next year. That's what he's going to say. Yeah. But then you still got the Paul George problem. You can't move him either. They gave him the max, right?
Yeah.
How good was that move by the Clippers? They knew something.
Yeah, absolutely they did.
Yep. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are improved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards. 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today. Edgeboost.bet, promo code FTM. Make money daily. Don't leave money on the table. Card never declined. Put money back in your pocket. You bet anyways. Get paid doing it. Deposit $25. Edge Boost will match the deposit. Edgeboost.bet, promo code FTM, edgeboost.bet.
Will any book repost a Philadelphia 76ers win total this year? What do we have, like 23 games left, right around there for most teams in the league? If I told you that I made the number right now without even looking at their schedule, 8.5 wins, would you go over or under that? Is that too high?
Yeah, the schedule's easy. I think, yeah. Well, Gordon's out 3 months, too.
I know.
That's another one.
Stanford Steve on the program coming up next. We'll find out which numbers caught his eye tonight in college basketball, tomorrow, and some NFL draft as well, next here on VSiN.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. College Hoops here. Stanford Steve joins the program. ESPN Sports Center with SVP, their podcast as well, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Always a pleasure, my friend. How are you today?
Excellent, boys. Great to see you. I've been able to catch so much more of you, and it's been fantastic. I'm sure the schedule change has given you guys more of a life, knowing what you guys had to do. Now they're paying for you to hang out with you guys at Stadium Swim. It's awesome to see you guys keep growing.
Thank you. We've hung out with you before, excuse me, at Stadium Swim. It was a great time.
Yeah, Paulie didn't show up. You came.
Yeah, sure. Well, that par for the course.
I got a cabana. You sat there and had one beer. I got the bottle of Jack. What are you talking about?
Come on.
So I like this. You were getting hardcore last night with college basketball. You were scouting for the new name of the conference, right? The Coastal.
Yeah.
You were at Towson and Bill and Mary. What do those two teams look like in person?
Well, Towson head coach Pat Scarry's been a good friend of mine, so I've been trying like heck to get up there for a game. Obviously, everybody has their traffic issues. It's not an easy drive when you got kids, but to finally get a Thursday night and go up and see them clinch the one seed in the conference tournament and then watch how they did it. William & Mary's a team that's, coaches from Princeton. They're going to be sound. They made 9 threes, shot 65% from 3 in the first half. They were up 12. Towson came all the way back and won by 20. Like, it's some high-level hoops. Now, Towson's been trying to get over the hump to get back in the tournament. I think it's since 91. So they went 1-31 in Scary's first year. It's going to be tough. But this conference tournament winner, if they can avoid like an SEC team or a big Ten team, they're dangerous, man, because they could score. They got plenty of athletes. There's transfers on the rosters. That conference tournament is up for grabs. So check those prices too. There's 4 or 5 teams that can win that.
Very good.
Yeah, I like it. Let's stay hardcore. Anything tonight on the card? Ivy League, maybe a VCU MAC action. What do you think? Anything jump out tonight?
I heard you talking about the VCU squad. I think they're tremendous. He's a great coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. I looked at Princeton. They still have a bunch of guys back from last year, and I thought they were legit last year. They're playing Columbia. Columbia started the year 11-0. They beat Villanova, and then they lost 3 starters. You can't do that in the Ivy. And they won their first Ivy game, and then I think they've lost 10 in a row. So I look at Princeton, given 4. What do we got there? 4.
There's 5 now.
Is it 5? 5?
Yeah.
I'd still look at that. Or if you want to throw them in a money line parlay with somebody, I think it's worthy. But Columbia's on a spiral.
You said something interesting before you came on, and we can't stand this. A team likely could go undefeated here in conference play. And got to win a couple more games. You think it's good for Yale to take a loss before the conference tournament?
I do. I always do, guys. I think you want to be peaking at the right time and to get reassessed and get your focus back. As painful as it was to watch Maryland lose that game the other night to Michigan State, knowing we got a little ticket on the Terps for the Big Ten, it's a hell of a lot better to lose now like that than it is in March. And now that we're here, I think, you watch Michigan pull another game out last night, and that's what made it so tough watching Maryland. You think back. But I think for a team like Maryland, like you get reorganized. All right, hey, what did we not do well? We didn't respond to the physicality of Michigan State. I always think a loss late in the regular season can do wonders for you because it's an automatic reset for your coach and staff to get your team's attention. And like I said, you always want to be going up at this time of year and to reassess things and get the focus back. If you've been on a long winning streak, I think it's always good.
So where are you at with the team that went to College Park and upset the Terrapins earlier this week? Sparty, only 3 losses in that conference. It's March. People are going to say it's Izzo in the month of March. Get out of the way. They can't shoot, but are you buying
in? It's on the matchup, Mitch. It really is. And I know you guys are doing your teams to get to the Final Four, but I got to see the bracket, especially this year. Scott and I have talked a ton about, the Big Ten teams, and I do a thing that, who could win the title. And I didn't have many Big Ten teams on there. I had Maryland on there. I had Michigan State because Izzo and Pitino are the best because they dictate to you. They walked into Maryland's building, and the best building it's been in 10 years, and dictated exactly how that game was going to go. We were going to be physical. There was going to be a grind. And to Maryland's credit, they come back from down 9 with 2:50 left. But I could see Michigan. I don't know if they have the goods to, again, the matchup. Like, how are they going to – they're going to have to score if they play these SEC teams. I don't put anything past them. There's been plenty of times where I've bought into Michigan State and gotten burned, and there's a bunch of times where I faded them and made out well. So they're about the matchup, but they're going to dictate a la St. John's and Pitino.
How far do you think St. John's will go this year? I mean, same thing, right? Based on the matchup overall, because what you said about Michigan State, I think, holds true for the Johnnies. If they have to play SEC teams, defense is absolutely one of the best in the country, but I'm not going to trust them for 6 games shooting from downtown either.
No, I will say if you figure you get 2 that you got to gut out, and St. John's is totally comfortable doing that. I had listened to you guys on your network. Plenty of guys have bought in. I think there's a Pitino factor there. He's the best coach of the sport. Whether you look at it, in game, getting guys to play. Everybody's seen the viral videos of him talking to a team. So I really like St. John's. I think they got the goods to compete with the top SEC teams. They're not going to be afraid of anyone. And also shooting, Mitch, they play at Madison Square Garden. That's an arena. Your games are going to be in an arena. So it's not this going to be another thing you got to worry about. It's something that they're accustomed to. And their defense, their offense comes from their defense. So I'm not worried about them scoring when they have to. I believe in Pitino and that bunch that is as hungry as anybody.
All the money, Paulie and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stanford Steve, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Any thoughts on the Combine or what's going to happen with the draft?
Yeah, it seems like it's got flipped upside down today with the news of Stafford, because it felt like Stafford was going to be the first domino, and then, everything was going to piece together, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Darnold, whether it's Cousins. So I don't know what now, because it sounded like everybody was in for another quarterback as Stafford moved. As far as the Combine, I'm super fired. I mean, the talent in that defensive line, I mean, this is a draft to get your team better. We saw what dictated in the Super Bowl. It was line play. And I think teams are coming around on that. There's plenty of interesting quarterback situations. Bum that Cam Ward's not going to throw, but I could see it. Like, I believe he feels he's superior to Shedeur in every facet, and that's his liking. So I really would like to throw. I look at the receivers, and I feel like everybody's jumping on Tet McMillan. I think Igbuka is the most reliable receiver when you go up and down. It's not a deep class at all. But when you look at what Igbuka has done at that place in Ohio State with all those other receivers, go through the years in the rosters that he's always been the guy. So I look at him. I don't know if he'll be the first. He probably won't be the first. You can't take him as the first receiver because of McMillan has the wow factor. But overall, all-around difference maker, Igbuka is going to be tough to beat.
Imagine he slides like into the late teens or 20s to a team with a good quarterback. I mean, the impact that he could have right away as a rookie. So if you were the GM of the Titans and you held on to the pick, would you take Abdul Carter? Would you take Hunter? Would you do something else?
See, the Titans is tough. I'm listening to these trade talks where as if the Browns, they're taking a quarterback. That's what Schefter said. When he says that, he knows. So does Cleveland have to go up to 1 to make sure they get the quarterback that they want, which I would think would be Ward. That's the thing I worry about. But if I'm the Titans, I would take Carter. I believe in this league, there's more of an impact that those guys have up front than a guy that's on the edge. He's the Heisman Trophy winner, the best player in the sport. But as far as difference maker and Carter, I need that now in that division where it's attainable. If you do get yourself better in certain areas, I'd look at Carter. You have 90
seconds.
Yep.
Favorite Gene Hackman movie, and what grade do you give, and how would you explain Buc-ee's?
I got to go either Hoosiers or No Way Out. You guys, we were talking in the break. You got to see No Way Out. It's absolutely fantastic. Old school movie, DC, Navy officers, corruption, the whole deal. Buc-ee's. It's a circus. I give it a B. I when I'm on a rest stop, and I'm talking about the giant ones that have everything, like you have to spend so much time looking around at what the hell they have, because they have everything. The popcorn selection is fantastic. I will give them that. The different kinds of caramel. I'm a popcorn guy, so I'm always looking at that. But it's an absolute circus. And when I'm traveling, I want to get my gas and grab a tin and get on the road. So I'm not there to look around, but I give it a B. People love it.
A lot of people have told me not only like the brisket sandwiches or the brisket breakfast tacos, but maybe the best beef jerky they've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm a big jerky guy.
Jerky, yes, for sure, because it's quick. I want to grab it and go. I ain't got time for a sandwich.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Moving on.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the time. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. You guys are the best.
Have a good weekend. There you go. Stanford Steve, ESPN Sports Center, and the SVP podcast as well on the Progressive Guest Line. Win Some, Lose Some is up next. And file this data away for Steph Curry. The numbers are astonishing.
Don't start betting the baseball season without it. VSiN's Baseball Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. Inside, you'll get everything from tips on how to bet baseball to expert analysis on awards races, futures markets, and a full stats glossary that will help you sharpen your edge. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up to become a pro subscriber to get this exclusive betting guide, as well as access to everything you need to become part of the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Hey, the Hornets show the pulse. Right there at halftime. Got the money against the Mavs. Lost the game, though, in the under 223 to 220. No problem. Lakers 4.5 up to 6.5. Certainly helped that Ant got kicked out of the game. And the Lakers make all the plays down the stretch to cover.
That's not a fun way to lose a player prop, by the way.
No kidding.
He had 18 points. He only had a couple in the first quarter, but 13 at halftime. He was coming on. He had 5 right away in the second quarter. You say it, I can't prove it. Convinced that was going to be a winner. And boy, oh boy.
Points and rebounds was brutal, too.
Oh, yep. He missed by the hook, I think, on both of them.
College hoops, Tarleton State +2 went off the favorite, got the money. Out here, the Knights, 390 up to 430. Led 5-1. And then had to hang on and score late to beat Chicago 7-5. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on television. From one Gator to another. This is Billy Horschel out there on Thursday. The Gator comes in on the fairway, and the cop's trying to get him. Go on, get out of here, right? And Horschel goes, I got it. He just taps him on the nose with his club, and the Gator goes back in the water. He said afterwards, they're more afraid of us. They're terrified of us. Just go up to him, and he just taps it, and there he goes.
I would have to have a couple of beers to do that the first time.
Look at Horschel. He goes after and follows it. You want some more, huh? You want a piece of me?
That's called experience right there.
That's what he said. Look at him. He knows. He taps him on the nose. Get out of here. Go on now. And he goes right into the water. And he follows him, too, come on, go. Good job, Horschel. Well done. This is from Rob.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. This is his dog, Bella. All of a sudden, they got some snow, but then the cold went away, and you got a little sun, and whether she's playing in the snow and burying her toy, Bella out there enjoying the snow and hanging out, does that every morning. There you go.
I believe Rob said the recent cold spell was like as low as 50 below.
Yes.
And then this video, I think, was around when it was 2 below.
Yeah.
So it's like a tropical paradise out there compared to what it was.
Right. Bella can finally go out and have a good time.
That's a loss.
Hey, there you go.
I've had 2 losses. I love them.
Excellent. Loving the snow and weather, looking for the toy, whatever it may be. Let Peter cook. We're going to Amherst Country Club in Amherst, New Hampshire. They watch every day, and this is Seabrook, New Hampshire at Brooks Casino. Peter has been chasing the Dollar Royale with cheese since October. No big deal, right, Mitch? Dollar denomination, a Dollar Royal, which usually pays $4,000. It was $30,000. The highest I've ever heard of here is 20. It got to 30 grand. He's been chasing it since October.
The $1 progressive got to 30.
30,000 and change. You see it on the screen. Peter Goodso popped it.
Good, because if he's been chasing since October, that tells you that he's in quite a bit.
Yep.
But that 30,000, man, that wipes away that and then some.
I've never seen anything like it.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
Well, I got more coming next week. He's got 50 cent Joker poker stuff, 5 of a kind. I can't believe the numbers. I can't believe it. I've lived here 25 years. I've never seen a Dollar Royal ever get that. The one was McKay had $5 denomination, which the Royale with cheese is 20 grand. He got that for like 65,000. This is crazy that it gets that high.
It's a good question for McKay or Bob Dancer.
Yeah, highest you've ever seen, no doubt. Lose some. Tough night for NBA nostalgia buffs, those buffoons. You're watching the greatest shooter of all time. I don't care how long you live, you're never going to see anyone better than Curry. 56 points, 12 threes, put on a clinic. What a job.
Favorite basketball player of all time.
Yep. Lakers, T-Wolves over. 224 up to 230. No chance. St. Mary's, Loyola Marymount over. 132 up to 135. No good. Some lose some videos. This is the dog making his own doggy door. Oh, no. He ripped right through the wall. And he's just hanging out. Look at that. Look at the massive hole he made in the wall. He's just like, I want an area to chill and hang out. I don't know. We showed the Rottweilers earlier in the week taking apart the couch. I mean, this is...
What is your reaction coming home to that?
They say, buddy, what happened? I don't know what to do. And you can't crate them, but that's... Honestly, you got to get a babysitter or send them to doggy daycare.
That's like Will Ferrell and Anchorman. You ate a whole wheel of cheese and you pooped in the fridge. I can't even be mad. Like, I'm going to come home to this. I'm going to be like, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Laugh it off, I guess, is my best option here.
You can't even be mad. Someone sent this in today. Let me get his. Let's go to Gulfstream. We're going to Gulfstream Park.
So cool,
I know.
by
Look
the way.
at him. Look at him. I know. Like, what's the problem? Let's go to Gulfstream today. Oh boy, feet out. Yeah, sure. I got people around me. I'm just gonna sit here, take my shoes and socks off, put them up there. Yeah, smell those little piggies. There you go. Unbelievable. Right in public in front of everybody. Putting your feet up barefoot. Absolutely. One bad beat. Rutgers money line. 4-1, I think. Michigan hits a corner three in front of the sideline from the parking lot to win it last night. Oh.
Yeah, at the gun.
Oh, how Rutgers lost that game. Yes. Join us for the ultimate follow the money experience. Hang out with us. Grab a VIP cabana. Circa Stadium swim. Spend the day kicking back, catching all the sports action. Sweating out bets poolside. Blackjack. Video poker. Shots. Check out the calendar as well. We're going to do it. We're going to start Sweet 16 with the madness. It's the owner's booth as well. Holds up to 20 people. Your own server, your own bathroom. It's the real deal. Mitch tweeted it out. I put it on Instagram. The VSiN Beyond the Booth experience. First come, first served. Dates are limited. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth. Reserve your day today. Limited my ass. You call me. I'm there. Mitch, so likewise. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth.
So here are the numbers, some of them from Steph Curry's performance last night. Now officially for his career. Think about this for a second. Most games with 9+ 3-pointers in the history of the league. Curry has 45 games with 9 threes. Second on the list, Damian Lillard. How many does he have? 14.
Wow.
Klay Thompson has 12. Steph Curry has 26 games with 10 threes. And Damian Lillard has 14 with 9, and he's second closest on. This is the thing.
I would trust the guy from half court.
I do.
And he made that. What got him going.
Yep.
They were down 17. He hit the three before halftime from beyond half court, and it carried over to the third quarter, and he blitzed them. And next thing you know, down 17 to up 10. It's like, what just happened?
Getting blown out. He hits a dozen of them last night. The Warriors tweeted this out after the game. February 27th, a.k.a. Stephen Curry Day. Go back to 2013. February 27th at the Garden. He had 54 points and 11 threes. 2016 on February 27th. I'm pulling out the wheelbarrow right now to take this three I've ever seen in my entire life. From the logo, when they were dead and buried the entire game against the Thunder and they came back to win. He had 46 points and 12 threes in that game. And then last night, 56 points on 12 threes as well. I said this, I'm not joking. I'd say Sean Kemp was my favorite NBA player for a long time. Loved that dude. People think of him as just a dunker. He wasn't. He was awesome for the Sonics. So good. He, got away from when he went to Cleveland. Curry has been for a long time my favorite player ever. But he's so good, I can also say that he's kind of ruined the game for me. We were kind of complaining about too many threes. Everybody thinks they can be Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. And that's been a problem. You're not. So that's how the game has changed. He basically told teams, here are the analytics. I'm shooting from 30 feet. This is more efficient than Dwight Howard with a dunk at the rim. So, and everybody thinks, hey, he can do that. I can do it. But part of that plays into this. He was at Davidson, 6'3", 150 pounds, whatever it was. He was a basket away from beating Kansas to go to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Yep. What a story that was.
They killed teams that tournament. Wisconsin was elite defensively.
The one year they got upset and they couldn't get an at-large bid, too. Yeah. Like, why would you want that guy in the tournament, right? Okay. Yeah. He's not great for business.
In terms of betting, though, you grabbed them 5-1 to win the division. Lakers are going to be without a couple of guys the way it looks tonight.
What do you think of, quickly, what do you think of 6-1 best record after the All-Star break? Ooh. Their schedule's easy.
Oh, okay. Enough said.
Is that something you better want to look at that? Because there's still five back of the Lakers.
I don't hate it. Yeah, sure.
I saw that today. I thought, okay, yes, go ahead.
How serious do you want to take this team for the Western Conference?
I got to see more. I don't know. They are 7-1. He's got the shot in the arm getting Butler back, but you're going to get beat up and killed down low. And basketball always slows down playoff time. So I got to see more, and I got to see how they do against elite teams. I mean, they were down 20 against Orlando, who just lost by 40.
Well, but that's the thing, though, right? I mean, teams bounce back when they have performances like that.
But to your point, it looks like everyone's out for the Lakers tonight, so then they could cut that deficit down too. But
The 5-1's long gone, by the way. I think the best now is like plus 350 or plus 310 to win the division.
Yeah, but maybe best record after the All-Star break. Cleveland the favorite, by the way. I thought plus 380 was ridiculous. They've won 12 of 13. How are they the third choice there?
Their net rating since they got Hunter is it's absurd.
Yeah,
it's a video game.
Yeah,
and they're killing good teams, by the way.
Yes.
Professional sports bettor Paul Stone on the program coming up next. We'll go over best bets tonight in college basketball and what he's looking at tomorrow on a loaded card in that sport. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy.